Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Welcome to our debate today. The motion in this debate is it necessary to implement generational end game or GEG in Malaysia? On the left side are the government team, while at the right side are the opposition team. Without wasting more time, we are ready to begin. I'd like to call on the first speaker for the proposition.
Okay, good morning, Bu Menodaya, Vice Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I am Muhammad Nazmi Hakim bin Muhammad Nawi as the Prime Minister of the government team regarding our topic about the implementation of generational engaged GEG in Malaysia. What is GEG? GEG is Government Tobacco Generational Engaged Policy, which seeks to enact a law prohibiting smoking to individuals born from 2007 onwards. So this effectively means that Malaysians who turn 17 this year and those who are younger will never be able to legally buy cigarettes and other tobacco products for the rest of their life. So do we support this step or not? As for the government side, we surely support this initiative to reduce the use of tobacco and cigarettes. So the point that I'm going to bring up to support the implementation of GEG is social acceptance. Before I proceed to my points, I would like to introduce the point that will be spoken by our side. For our second speaker, she will explain about the importance of executing GEG based on health aspect. Moving on is our third speaker will explain from the economical perspective. And about my point here, social acceptance is important towards any approach by the government as it will affect the people in every aspect of life. In this case, what is people's opinion towards the enactment of GEG? Given the recent increase in outdoor smoking restriction in many developed countries and the growing recognition of the importance of reducing smoking role model for children, this area needs further research related to attitudes and policy evaluation. Given the levels of public support, policymakers in some jurisdictions appear to have an opportunity to establish smoke-free outdoor public places, at least in areas frequented by children. So to prove this, I would like to bring out a research by Thomson 2009. He conducted a survey stating about people's attitudes toward the following smoke-free outdoor setting, which can be related to the implementation of GEG. Then a few data was taken to show the attitudes towards the banning of tobacco and cigarettes in outdoor activities. For example, in the United Kingdom, a survey was designed which aims towards those aged 18 years and above. Example of the question is given like, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? I support a ban on smoking. For example, the question is like, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Such as, I support a ban on smoking in enclosed public places and workplaces. The second statement, the ban should go further and outlaw smoking in some outdoor public places, for example, bus shelters or public parks. And the third statement is, there should be a ban on smoking near children. So the result was, majority of them support the ban of smoking in some outdoor places, especially for children or helpless people. Maybe this research is made in the United Kingdom, and how it can be related with the implementation of GEG in Malaysia. One thing that I can tell you is that health issues are a highlighted issue in every country. So if smoking is not accepted in one country, then it should not be allowed in other countries as well. I think that's all from me. Back to Ms. Chairman.
Thank you. I'd now like to call upon the first speaker for the opposition to respond to the first government speaker's statement.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. I am Tobin Dayang and Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of the debate today is GEG. Is it really necessary to be implemented in Malaysia? And the answer is it is not. Because my side believes that if we implement the GEG, it can cause myriad of negative effects towards our own country. My name is Muhammad Al-Azhar and I am the opposition leader for the opposition team. And today, as the first speaker, I will be talking to you and also elaborate point on the social effect of implementing GEG. And my second speaker or deputy of the opposition here will explain more on the health aspect on implementing GEG. And the third speaker will be explaining and elaborating more on the economy if GEG is implemented. What we have here from the first speaker, he has tried to tell all of us that people are supporting GEG, but it isn't, as the data that he used to refer is from UK, not in Malaysia. Yes, we all know Malaysia have different kind of mentality from the Westerners, especially from the Europe and so on. And also the data are from 2019, which is more reliable, as a lot of changes across the year. Probably people's mindset to the GEG already changed. We never know because the wrong data has been used. And also, he only focusing on tobacco and cigarette, which is not focusing and highlighting the existence of a new smoking-like device such as vape or pod. Now, I will be discussing and elaborating the negative effect of GEG's implementation in social aspect. Actually, people have right to smoke. By implementing GEG, it takes people's right to do that habit. Yes, I agree with the first speaker from the government that we should ban smoking in specific areas such as public school and so on. But I did not support the banning, the overall banning, as it also can cause another issues where the people's emotional and mental health can be caused when we ban the banning. People use cigarettes as an antidepressant. If we ban smoking, we can raise the quality of people's happiness, and it can cause people's productivity to be decreased. There are also chances where a huge number of people will protest and cause a riot across the country as they didn't support the implementation. Next to my second point, the GEG is not effective at all. If we look at this, we already have a law regarding the tobacco and the cigarettes. For example, in Malaysia we have the tobacco control law, and in the law there is a section regarding declaration of non-smoking areas. In the section, it has been mentioned that we cannot smoke in public areas such as schools, indoor restaurants, hospitals, and many more. And also in the sections, it has been mentioned that if people against the law, they can be charged with penalties. However, the penalties are not stiff, thus people will just disregard and continue whatever they want. And also, people are becoming more creative nowadays. And we all know the innovation of new kind of smoking device such as vape and pod, that kind of innovation caused a trend among the youngsters, especially, we all know among the adolescents tend to smoke pod, vapes, and so on. But at the same time, this kind of innovation helps our country to gain more profit, especially in the innovations where we expand our profit through technology by creating an electrical device to smoke. I guess that's all from me for now. I will pass back to the Vice Chairman.
Thank you for the response. Now, I would like to call upon the second speaker from the government team to give their view.
Good afternoon, Madam Dayang, Ms. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tan Zi, the second speaker of the government side, and I will be discussing of the health impacts of smoking. So since young, we were taught that smoking is bad for our health by our parents and teachers. So it clearly shows that it's a well-known fact that smoking does damages our body. So the main ingredient of tobacco is nicotine. So nicotine is a highly addictive substance that will narrow and harden our vein and arteries. So this slows down our blood flow from our heart to our hand and feet. So as a result, our heart will be damaged as it is forced to work harder and faster. So this will eventually lead to a stroke. Next, the combustion of tobacco produces carbon monoxide, which deprives the smoker's heart of the oxygen it needs to pump blood around the body. When too much of carbon monoxide is in the air, the body replaces the oxygen in the red blood cells with carbon monoxide. This will lead to serious tissue damage and will cause headache, dizziness, weakness, vomiting, and confusion. Tar, which is also contained in tobacco, is a sticky substance that coats our lungs like soot in a chimney. It is produced when tobacco is burned. According to the National Health Service (NHS) in England, tar damages the lungs by narrowing the bronchioles, and it also damages the cilia, which help to protect the lungs from dust and infections. So this can lead to a range of lung infections such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and emphysema. Besides that, exposure to phenol may irritate our skin, eyes, nose, throat, and liver system. Some symptoms to exposure of phenol are weight loss, weakness, muscle ache, and pain. So severe exposure to phenol can cause liver or kidney damage, tremor, convulsion, and twitching. Therefore, phenol is considered to be toxic to human via exposure because it can occur through many ways, such as skin absorption, vapor inhalation, and ingestion. Besides, tiny particles in tobacco smoke also irritate the smoker's eyes, nose, and lungs and cause a smoker's cough. This causes them to produce more mucus to protect themselves and damages the lung tissues. Besides, ammonia and formaldehyde irritate the eyes and throat, while cancer-causing chemicals will make the smoker's cells grow more faster or abnormally and cause cancer. Apart from that, smoking will also affect the smokers in terms of their external appearance. It will cause yellow-brown stains on their fingers, tongue and teeth, increase the risk of tooth loss, give them early wrinkles, and make their hair lose its natural shine. This is why smokers will look older than their age. So although quitting smoking might improve the smoker's skin complexion, most of the skin damages could not be reversed. Lastly, the smoker's life expectancy and quality of life will reduce as there is of many conditions and smoking-related disease such as cancer, chronic respiratory disease, stroke, fatality problems, osteoporosis, and menopause, as well as dying prematurely, will occur. It can be a long time before a smoker gets a smoking-related condition or disease. So because of this, many people believe that it will not happen to them. In fact, up to two-thirds of long-term smokers will die of smoking-related disease and have their life cut short by about 10 years on average compared to non-smokers. So since smoking brings so many bad effects on health, I believe that the GEG should be implemented. That's all from me, thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to call the second speaker for the opposition to give their view towards the second government speaker's statement.
Thank you to the chairman. Assalamualaikum and good morning, Madam Dayang, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nur Shafika, the second speaker of the opposition team. As my first speaker mentioned, I will be discussing about the health aspect of implementing generational endgame in Malaysia. Implementing GEG in Malaysia means that the consumers of the tobacco products also will be affected, especially the smokers. As the second speaker of the government mentioned earlier about the negative effects of health from smoking, wouldn't you have to agree that there are also positive health effects of smoking too? From my research, I found that smoking is one of the good ways to reduce the possibility of becoming obese. This is because nicotine in tobacco products can help in reducing an individual's appetite and hunger. The nicotine in snuff smoke is an appetite suppressant. Goes back to the indigenous cultures of America in the pre-Columbian era, which when tobacco companies in the 1922s began to tell women that smoking would make them skinnier. The link between smoking and the weight control is complicated. Yes, nicotine serves as both a stimulant and an appetite suppressant, and smoking promotes behavioral changes that cause smokers to eat less. Smoking can also make food less tasty for some, what comes to further dampen appetite. As an appetite suppressant, nicotine acts on a part of the brain called hypothalamus, as revealed in a study by the researchers at the University of Yale. Therefore, this can be the evidence that it is logic if they say smoking can make someone lose weight. Other than that, implementing GEG may also affect the tobacco plants, and it is unnecessary because tobacco itself is also beneficial for humans and animals. It has always been considered as a medicinal plant. Before its use as a smoking material, it has been used as traditional medicine for common illnesses. It is claimed to be an antiseptic, sedative, anti-productive, and useful in relieving pain. In recent years, nicotine has been recommended for hypodermic injections in tetanus and strychnine poisoning. The plant is also used as a source of isoprene units required for the production of a cardiac drug. For veterinary applications, tobacco was found useful as an antiseptic for cleaning wounds. It is also suspected to have anticoicidal properties in poultry. Therefore, I totally disagree with the implementation of GEG in Malaysia, as it will threaten the tobacco plant itself, while tobacco is not just about smoking products. Other than that, an association between smoking and a lower incidence of Parkinson's disease has been observed across cohort and case control. According to the pooled estimates from a meta-analysis of both cohort and case control studies, current and former smokers have a
before I start to deliver my point, I would like to highlight few certain points or maybe ask you some questions that is regarding to GEG and why are we required to impose it in our country. Have any of you ever thought what the alternative could have been for those who lost their jobs in the tobacco industry and how it could help our country to make up for the economic loss after the ban? Well, I agree with Dayan, Mr. Chairman, my dear government team and your opposing team and my fellow audience. I'm Kavyashri, the third speaker of the government team here to explain to you why are we implementing the ban in our country. Earlier, Shafika from the opposing team had mentioned how smoking can actually help cope with our mental and health issues. For example, coping with our hunger issues. When we smoke, we don't feel hungry. But no, do you know that smoking can cause a lot more dangerous diseases? Starting off from the economic sector, workers who work in the sector itself. The tobacco and nicotine that this industry has been impacted by many, getting them addicted to such products such as vape, cigarettes and pots. But how about those who work in the factory itself? Every day they are handling with the nicotine leaves to produce these components in the cigarette itself. And for those people who work in this factory, to manufacture this one stick of cigarette actually being affected by a lot more because they are forced to inhale more smoke than people outside. People outside are just lighting up one butt, but these people from the inside are inhaling more smoke than normal people do. There was once a skin prick test that was conducted by a researcher, and it turns out that 23% in women and 26% in men were found to be positively associated with uncontrolled exposure of cigarette smoke. Additionally, these workers are exposed to hazardous substances like nicotine as they are to handle tobacco leaves every day. But little do they know is that nicotine is a chemical that is so easily able to pass through the skin and can enter the bloodstream causing GTS, which is a serious illness and it stands for green tobacco sickness, which is a type of nicotine poisoning that barely has a cure. As you can see, for the pleasure and addiction of these irresponsible decision makers, the people who are working in this sector, they are being immensely affected. Therefore, I strongly agree and stand that this ban must be implemented and have the tobacco industry to be abolished. And for my point for abolishing all these tobacco factories is that when we abolish this, doesn't mean that these people who used to work there don't get a job. As a government, we will take the initiative to provide them a better job with a better health insurance as well. Because those who used to work in these industries, they will suffer a lot more, and the fact that they do not get proper health treatment or insurance is quite disappointing and saddening. So after abolishing and closing down all these factories, what the government could do is that give them a proper health inspection first and then provide them a job at a safer place with a good income as well. And if this method is not really accepted by the public, mainly for those who are opposing, and they are like, no, we do not want to close down these factories. The government is also willing to follow what the New Zealand Parliament had stated as well. Because a day before, our government had come up with a bill to the Parliament, the New Zealand came up with a bill as well as to why the generational endgame should be implemented. They stated that if we could not shut everything down completely, we go step by step by slowly reducing the number number of cigarettes and vape pods. And so, it is stated that the New Zealand will slowly recognize vaping as a source of lowering the prevalence rate for smoking. According to the Star newspaper, it means that vaping, the vape itself contains less nicotine compared to smoke and tobacco products, but it is still just as harmful as the other substances. However, it is a method that is hoping for those who are unwilling to let go, and it's a sort of therapy itself. Based on a case study made by the Department of Statistics Malaysia, an alternative that can also be followed is that the country gradually phases out smoking altogether. The contribution from the tobacco industry in terms of tax revenue, production and activities will also reduce accordingly. If we are unable to carry out the two stated alternatives earlier, this will be a good step that the government will be willing to take. What the government can do is that we state the law for them to reduce the amount of cigarette packs or vape products they are selling in a certain store, and make sure that kids under the age of 21 do not buy cigarettes. Because this law was mainly implemented for those who are born from the year 2007 and above. And you see, these kids who are the current age of 16 or 14 right now are being addicted to smoking because of environmental factors. For example, their parents who might smoke, their friends who might be addicted to smoking, and they are just curious to try out smoking itself. So these people who go to these stores, they would buy cigarettes, and they just want to test it out, but in the end, they're just as addicted as all these addicts out there. So for this to happen, shop owners, factories, they should be really, how to say this, they should really tighten up their law by saying, is this kid really 21 and old? And he really buys smoke? But no. They should really check everything before they sell and make sure that the selling rate is actually reducing year by year. And on a good note, when this tobacco industry is completely out of the picture, worry not, because the laws of the country might be compensated by other fast-growing industries. From what I've studied is that tobacco industry does have very high income and investments in our country. However, this can be backed up by other fast-growing industries such as AI, which has started growing quite rapidly in the year of 2023 and has long begun its revolution in many industries such as healthcare, finance, and transportation. So as a substitute for smoking and having this income or investment rates growing higher, and the loss that we might face after closing down all smoking industries, our AI can back up as it brings in more investments as well. Since AI is a very promising industry that will bring in huge profits that can keep up with the market demands and have inundation of investments. So it is very less likely that our country will face backlash and will crash down economically, and banning all tobacco products, including vape itself, is actually a very good method that we can take in order to ban all smoking itself. Yes. That's all for me.
Thank you. I would now like to call upon the third speaker from the opposition side.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay. Although the policy was said to impact those who are born after 2007, however, this GEG is also impact the economy as a whole. Okay, good morning. I need to Daya, Ms. Speaker, member of the government team, and last but not least, the audience. Okay, first of all, banning the tobacco products will more likely sure that AI technology are fully developed and ready to be replaced the tobacco industry. Tobacco products is one of the ways that the Malaysian government use to develop its country. So the people who are against smoking, banning smoking, they are worried about the banning, the enforcing of GBG will cause the government tax revenue to be reduced. Therefore, our country economy will drop. Okay, so this can be proven by the statistic that made by Malaysia. Malaysia is actually a net importer of tobacco products, as it is said that Malaysia represents about 0.05% of total imports, whereas there are only 0.02% of total exports in tobacco products, meaning to say that our Malaysian government actually gain all the revenue by earning tax. And according to another statistic, it said that due to the high demand for tobacco products, the tax revenue of tobacco in our country is actually estimated at over 5 billion ringgit Malaysia annually. And in 2021, the tobacco industry value-added output generated amounted to 2.8 billion ringgit Malaysia, with 1,200 workers employed, and this does not include those tobacco products that are reportedly lost through illicit cigarette sales, which means that the Malaysian government can actually earn more revenue by selling tobacco products. Okay. So when the economy crashes, when we enforce the GDG, the risk of unemployment will also increase rapidly because there is no job replacement for them. And not to say all the workers in the tobacco industry are willing to work, not that they are forced. They know that there are risks to get health issues, but yet they still work there. Therefore, it is their freedom to work there. Okay. According to Pankaj Kumar, Managing Director of Datametric Research and Information Sedia Berhad, DARE for short, he said that the industry that is proliferating employs more than 50,000 workers and 3,300 businesses average. In fact, this industry has a business volume more than 2.7 billion ringgit Malaysia and employed mostly ethnic Bumi Putras as their workers. We all know that Bumi Putras, they live in rural areas, so it is hard for them to get work. So this tobacco industry actually provide work opportunities for them so that they can work and they have salary every month. Okay. Other than that, besides the tobacco industry sectors, thousands of farmers and industry workers are also employed by tobacco industry. Therefore, if we ban tobacco products, we can actually cause workers from other sectors to lose their job as well. So we have to be really careful when it comes to enforcing the GDG. Hence, enforcement of GDG will actually lead to the closure of business, and this will affect that the job market will in turn generate less job opportunities for the people. So eventually, all this will lead to the risk of unemployment. Thus, I strongly oppose the enforcement of GDG as it will cause a serious unemployment in Malaysia. That's all from me. Back to you, Ms. Speaker.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the second round. Now I would like to invite the first speaker from the government side to continue the discussion.
Thank you to Ms. Jelen for giving me the chance once again. So for the second round, I would like to continue my point, which is social acceptance. However, I want to emphasize on different research. It says here that a survey was conducted by Code Blue and the Guidance Center for Health and Social Policy. It shows that 95% of 676 respondents supports the government's proposed generation smoking ban, including the smokers themselves. Out of the 676 total response gathered from the 2-week online poll, which ran from February 9 until February 24, a total of 103 respondents, which is 50.2%, are current cigarette smokers. While 142 respondents currently use e-cigarette or vapes. So, this research is to counter the statement made by the first speaker from the opposition team, which he said that the research that I stated before does not include vape. So, among the respondents who currently smoke cigarette, 90.3% said that they were supportive of the cohort smoking ban, with many saying that it would be more difficult to quit smoking than to avoid it in the first place. This sentiment is not uncommon among smokers, as nicotine addiction can be very challenging to overcome. The physical and physiological dependence on nicotine can make it difficult for smokers to quit, even if they are aware of the health risks associated with smoking. Moreover, the cohort smoking ban may make it more difficult for smokers to indulge in their habit, as they will have to find designated smoking areas or smoke in private away from the public. This may increase their motivation to quit smoking altogether, as it becomes less convenient and socially acceptable to smoke. Overall, the statement suggests that even among smokers, there is a recognition of health risks associated with smoking and a willingness to support policies that may help them quit or reduce their smoking habit. Other cigarette smokers who supported the proposed smoking ban policy said that they do not want their children or grandchildren to smoke and that smoking had no positive effect on health. This shows that those who support the proposed smoking ban policy have expressed concern for the health of their children and grandchildren. This is not surprising, as smoking is known to have significant impact on both the smoker's health and the health of those around them. Children in particular are more vulnerable to the harmful effect of second-hand smoke, and exposure to it can increase their risk of respiratory illness, sudden infant syndrome, and other health problems. So here, even smokers themselves admit that their habit is dangerous. So this is why GEG must be executed as soon as possible to control the use of tobacco in the society. I think that's all from me. Back to the chairman.
Thank you. Now I would like to call upon the first speaker from the opposition side.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for calling me out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind everyone in this hall that we should be wise and also we should look more deeper in this issue. Actually, I want to argue regarding a point that has been mentioned by the third speaker from the government side that yes, if we implement the GEG, we will provide another job opportunities for the people who work in the tobacco industry. But I want to argue how the people want to survive while waiting the new job. As we all know, job opportunities are very hard to provide, as it probably can take a lot of years. How people can survive in those years if we 100% stop we ban the tobacco, and in the same time we stop the tobacco industry. Yes, I know that the government will probably do it phase by phase, but still phase by phase, maybe you guys can do it in month by month, but still, if you want to provide a job opportunities, it takes years. And even though they have mentioned that the government will compensate the workers who lost their jobs, but if we look at the compensation, the fund that used to compensate the people who lost their job in the tobacco industry, we can use it for a better purpose. For example, like if you guys want to spread, want to implement the GEG, we should spread it by awareness. But if we don't spread it by through the awareness, how the people can even understand and comprehend why the GEG should be implemented? Thus, the people's curiosity will lead them to smoke, especially among the youngsters. Okay, as what has been mentioned by me in the first round of today's debate, if we implement GEG, it is people's right to smoke, and also at the same time, our country will be facing economic issues, and due to the economic downfall, people's social life also will be affected as we lost the profits to the tobacco industry, which we use to develop our country. And the third speaker from my side also has mentioned that by implementing GEG, it caused a mass unemployment. And because of mass unemployment, people will become depressed, stressed, and probably they will start to have a suicidal thought. You never know, and their life will get upside down at the same time. And also, we can see that people become more creative and innovative. Like we took as the tobacco control law in Malaysia. We all know that in the law it focuses on tobacco and cigarettes, but people will become creative in inventing new kind of smoking device, probably more danger than that we already saw now. For example, that we all already hear that vape and incident that caused by vape and pot where they explode while they are using it, and rather than we ban smoking, we rather need to ensure that people are not creating another more dangerous device. And people's daily life, social life also will be affected as smoking. As we know that smoke can act as antidepressant, and also through smoking, people can help. We can help people to improve their emotional feeling and get their self-esteem back. Thus, their life productivity will be increased. Based on the data by the STAR, they mentioned that smokers are more happier rather than the non-smokers. Hence, our country's economy also can be boosted. But when the people's productivity increases, when their feelings are being improved through smoking. And again, I want to emphasize that our sides believe the GEG is not really necessary to be implemented. That's all from me. I will pass back to Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Opposition Leader, for giving your view. Now we will call upon the second speaker from the government side.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Apart from physical health, smoking also affects the smoker's mental health. First and foremost, tobacco will increase mental illness symptoms such as level of depression, anxiety, stress, and psychiatric symptoms. It will also reduce the effectiveness of medications for mental health, as it can interact with and inhibit the effectiveness of psychiatric medications. This causes smokers with mental illness to need higher doses of some antipsychotic medicines and antidepressants because smoking interferes with the way these medicines work. Secondly, smoking speeds up brain aging. Smokers have a thinner cerebral cortex than non-smokers. In other words, Smoking was destroying the gray matter in smokers. This is important because the cerebral cortex is a part of the brain that is crucial for thinking skills, including memory and learning. So the thicker it is, the better it will be. The cortex does tend to thin with age naturally, but research found that all else being equal, the more people had smoked, the more they tended to have a thin cortex. This result suggests that smoking accelerates the normal thinning of the cortex that occurs with age. A study published on November 6, 2019, in the journal Psychological Medicine found that smokers had nearly double the risk of developing depression or schizophrenia compared with people who didn't smoke. It is a very commonly held belief that individuals with mental illness smoke to self-medicate, but most previous studies have not looked at the causal effects. So when a smoker smokes and inhales nicotine, it activates the receptor for the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which eventually leads to the release of dopamine and serotonin. As the dopaminergic system is heavily involved in schizophrenia, it could be that the nicotine or some other components in the cigarettes is disrupting the dopaminergic pathways in the brain, which could ultimately contribute to schizophrenia, which is a serious mental disorder in which people interpret reality abnormally. Schizophrenia may result in some combination of hallucinations, delusions, and extremely disordered thinking and behavior that impairs daily functioning and can be disabling. People with schizophrenia are 3 times more likely to smoke than other people and tend to smoke more heavily. This is because people with schizophrenia use smoking to control or manage some of the symptoms associated with their illness and reduce some of the side effects of their medications. So since smoking has such bad effects on mental health, why do people feel that smoking helps them to relax? Just like the opposition side mentioned that smoking helps people to feel relaxed and happy. But it's because smoking cigarettes interfere with the certain chemicals in our brain. So when the smokers does not have a cigarette for a while, the craving for another one makes them to feel irritable and anxious. These feelings can be temporarily relieved when they light up another cigarette. Therefore, smokers associate improved mood with smoking. However, it is the effect of smoking itself that are likely to have caused anxiety in the first place. Therefore, I disagree with the opposition view that tobacco and smoke can act as an antidepressant and help people to feel relaxed. Hence, I believe that GG should be implemented and it has negative effects on mental health. That's it from me, thank you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry guys, this is the first group that have circles 2 rounds for this, okay? Then we thought that we just can have everyone done in just 1 round, okay? So, can we just wrap up? Because I thought we can actually start with the next group at 12:30. But now if I were to go with another 2 and 3, I don't think that we have that particular time. It's already almost 15 minutes, almost 1 hour already, okay? So, can we just get one person to wrap up everything from the government and the opposition? Okay? Can we do that? I thought that Daniel and Akim has actually wrap up just now. No, you all are just doing it for the second round. Okay.
Yeah.
You will not, 3 of you or 6 of you are not enjoying the debate at all. You can see from the face. You are not enjoying it at all. Everyone was actually having long faces, and I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not even a debating. Okay? Z is even reading the whole thing. I don't know where is the part of debating and so on. I'm so sorry. Okay, so why don't this the leader of the governments and the opposition please write. Okay?
Okay, we start with the opposition team lah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Miss Speaker.
And again, we want, as the opposition team, want to conclude that and also want to emphasize our belief that GG should not be implemented as it can give a lot of major negative effects in every aspect towards our country. Right? That's all from us. Thank you.
suggest and against of them saying not to ban this GEG, but as the government, we say we should implement it in order for our country to further flourish and become on par with other fast-falling countries. And it's because, you see, without the ban, the number of deaths caused by smoking, right, is drastically increasing year by year. So if with the ban implemented and going, we are able to reduce the number of deaths caused by smoking itself, mainly by, smoking could be cigarette, pot, or vape. And see, if these people do not follow this ban, the government will impose fine or jail imprisonment for them, mainly for those who are aggressively opposing the government itself. So non-governmental bodies such as NGO and the Malaysian Royal Police all are working together to make this GEG happen in Malaysia itself. So to summarize everything, I do hope that this GEG will be implemented and also consider some of the things that the opposing team have also said.